Hello, and welcome to The Potential State. My name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about Name It to Tame It. That's a reference by Daniel Siegel, which is mentioned in this wonderful book called A Practical Guide to Cultivating Therapeutic Presence by Dr. Shari. And this is a wonderful book that's really rocking me about how to be more present in my sessions as a therapist, but also obviously in life. And then I stumble onto this idea that naming, that verbalizing your feelings, verbalizing what's happening inside of you actually helps your limbic brain to regulate your feelings. So when they compared people that verbalized what they were feeling when they were triggered by a certain image versus the people that didn't verbalize it, the ones that were verbalizing it were actually more regulated, more calmer, more soother. And also what they found out, they were more flexible in their thought process and thought patterns, and also they were less reactive. So by verbalizing, research is showing, and brain research is that not only are we calmer and more regulated, but we're also more open, we're less reactive. I can actually see what's happening. And this connects to something that has been known for a long time in the improv world of saying the thing. You're saying what's actually happening. You're saying the reality of what's happening right now. And I think we're all taught, it's not rude to share what's happening, what's going on in your mind. Nobody cares, nobody wants to know. Choose your words carefully. Don't just spew out everything that you're feeling and thinking. But actually what's happening is that by not doing that, we're not really present. I'm not actually sharing what's happening in my mind. And I'm actually being more judgmental because I'm thinking yes, no, and I'm being more critical also about myself. In the sense of, I shouldn't be thinking that, or why am I thinking that? Why am I still stuck there? And the other person is meanwhile talking to us, but we're like stuck in that last thought, that last feeling. And I want to make the case that by naming it, or by saying the thing, we're not only taming and regulating our brain, but a few other gains. One of them is going public, right? And I talk a lot about owning your shit. The second I'm verbalizing what's happening inside and I'm owning it, I'm taking responsibility for what's happening inside. I'm actually saying, this is what's happening right now. And by taking responsibility, it's a sign of growth. I'm actually growing in my own eyes, and also people that are across from me are going to be respecting that I'm honest. We have a saying in Hebrew, his mouth and his heart are the same. So when I can verbalize what's happening in my heart, when I'm saying the thing, when my mouth and my heart are the same, that's congruency. Congruency leads to integrity. Integrity leads to sense of maturity, of respect for yourself, and others will also respect you. There's another side benefit of leaping to freedom. Leap to freedom in the sense of I'm stuck, I'm feeling really judgmental, or I'm feeling really sad or angry. I'm going to give a few examples soon. And the second I say it out loud, I'm releasing myself of it. I'm already more than that. Spoke about this previously. The second I can say I'm actually angry at you right now, or I'm very, very sad because of what you said, so there's already someone who's saying that who's not me. We spoke about that when we spoke about self-talk. But now I'm giving it in the context of sharing this with someone else, with someone you care about. So the second I'm saying, I was really hurt by what you said, or you're just saying something and I feel like I'm losing confidence, the fact that I'm saying it out loud means that I'm not just losing confidence. I'm actually going on the balcony and looking. In relational psychotherapy, we call this self-state. So there's a self-state of Assael that's shrinking into being a little child. But the second I can verbalize that, I'm going to another self-state, another part of me who's actually looking at this process, the observer. And the second I am sharing with what's happening, without naming it, so I'm playing with my cards open, as Enrich, another psychotherapist, writes. The second I'm playing with my cards open and I'm showing you what's happening inside, I'm showing you the backdrop, then there's a few benefits of that. So the other person stops taking it personally because I'm suddenly saying all these things that are happening in my mind. So he or she can actually see my thought process and see where I'm going. And the second I'm showing them what's happening inside of me, they're becoming less and less, they mind read me less. They don't have to guess what's happening in my mind, I'm telling what's happening in my mind. And we know that mind reading many times leads to false assumptions or negative sentiment overrides. Or I'm just assuming the partner is looking at me, I'm judging it negatively, especially if I'm insecure or if this relationship is tense. So if I'm not sure what's happening, I'm just going to assume that something negative is happening. So by naming it, by verbalizing it, or the way me and my wife call it, becoming the verbalizer, So the second you're the verbalizer, the other person stops mind reading you and can actually calm down and just kind of see what's happening. And actually, by playing with your cards open, and a lot of what you're saying is actually to yourself, you're not hitting them, you're not judging them with your words, you're just kind of opening up and say, hey, this is what's happening. They become less defensive, they can breathe, and they can just actually get the front row seat and see what's happening in your mind. And when they can calm down, they're actually more receptive to hearing. And actually, what you're also doing, you're modeling a deeper relationship. So if you're opening up the backstage and showing them behind the scenes, it's more likely that they're also going to show behind the scenes. So it's going from, instead of saying you and you, I'm going, this is what's happening in me. And I'm reminding you, when you point at someone, they have 3 fingers pointing back at you. So we're basically flipping and I'm saying, this is what's happening with me. And I'm doing this as self-disclosure, which means I'm not expecting him or her to reciprocate. I just want you to know what's happening inside my mind right now. So it calms the other down, it regulates myself, it enables a less pressured conversation, because each one of us is meeting themselves. It's inviting us to go more into self-disclosure than self-presentation. And actually, what it happens, it keeps the conversation fresh. It's almost like broadcasting live. You never know what's going to happen now. And the fact that I just told you that the last thing you said kind of threw me off, and I was kind of disappointed, that's going to really change the interaction. Whereas if I wouldn't say that, he or she would keep on talking to me, but I would be gone already. So it's like I keep resetting, refreshing. It's like refreshing the page on your browser. It's like refreshing the conversation. And this is what's happening now, and this is what's happening now. So I hope I've laid enough reasons why I think you should try this, at least, if not adopt this in several of your more intimate relationships. And I want to give you guys a few examples of how that manifested in my life recently. I want to start with today. Today I had a meeting with my coach, and I was acting out. I didn't really want to see him, and I didn't know what to do. So I kind of waited to the last minute till I went to my office, and by the time I got there, he was already there. So I kind of lied. I lied and I said, well, I thought maybe we'd meet upstairs, but I changed my mind. And that was not true, because I felt uncomfortable saying to him, oh, every time, just before we start meeting, I feel a bit tense. And we started going, and this was a session about my life and coaching, and obviously I'm talking and I'm trying to be congruent, and this thing is just hovering in my mind, this little lie that I gave in the beginning. And and at a certain point, I just had to say, listen, I lied. And I didn't really have another plan. And the second I said that, was like a huge release of energy, like this catharsis, and we could move on with the session. And with my kids, sometimes, when I'm alone and I'm tired and my wife's away and I have to tell them, like today, I said, listen, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I want to listen to you guys more, but I just can't do it. And the second I say that, and I don't blame them or get angry at them, the second I'm saying this is me, they can be much more relaxed and actually come toward me and actually come and try to help me more. I'm enlisting them more because I'm not blaming them. So I want to give a few more examples before I go to the practical tips. So I was speaking to my mom today, and I was in this mindset of broadcasting live, of naming it, because I continued on for my session today with my coach, and she was saying something really positive about something I was doing, and then she went, but I think, and the second she went, but I think I felt this little drop in the energy. I felt like I was like moving away farther from her, because I really didn't want her to go negative. So as I was kind of sliding back, I said, Mom, wait, stop. I'm sliding back. Why do you have to say the but? And the truth was, even though I said it to her as like a request, it was more about just owning the fact that I was kind of sliding away, that I was getting colder and colder. The second I named it, we could kind of step out of that. It was like a leap to freedom, to a new position, to a new space. And that's just a little example of actually a negative place where I shifted back. So I can not only name a positive thing like, wow, my heart is so open right now, you're amazing. And I was thinking how creative you are. And I want to give an example from when I was inviting someone else to name it, to tame it. So I teach a weekly improv class, a playback theater class, and one of the participants, I could see she was irritated about the air conditioning. So I said to everyone, turn off the air conditioning, and then she came up on stage to tell a story. And as she told the story, it was really, really hot. And it was really noisy, and I couldn't hear it. So I told everyone to turn off the air conditioning. I'm sorry, she wanted it on because she was hot, and as she's telling her story, I was signaling, turn off the air conditioning. It's making a lot of noise, and I could see she was irritated about that. And she kept on telling her story, but I felt like something was bottled up there. Something was bottled up there. And then I said to her, you didn't like the fact that I turned off the air conditioning. And she goes, yes, I asked you and I told you and you still didn't do it. And she just kind of let out this little monologue about the air conditioning. And the second she released all of that, we could continue on with the show. I felt like something was bottled up there, but she couldn't say it. She didn't want to say it. She was embarrassed to say it. And the thing what I'm realizing now more and more as I'm going deeper into these Own Your Shit series and into my marriage, into my intimate conversations, is if you can create a relationship where both of you can name it live, broadcast live, whether it's good or bad, what you're creating is a relationship where all your self states are welcome, where you are free to bring all the different parts of you. And that is a real homecoming. That is a real safe place. Because there are so little places in your life where you can bring all the different shades, where people will applaud you for showing your shadow, for lying, for cheating, for manipulating, for belittling yourself, for being critical on the other, for zoning out. We have so little spaces like that. Let's create relationships where that is applauded, where that is the standard. And I want to give you now a few tips on how to create those relationships. So the first thing is start with self-talk. Talk to yourself. Practice this. Practice broadcasting live. The way you do it, you speak a little bit faster and you're just saying everything that's going on in your mind. Like if I'll try to do this right now, the battery already died once. I'm really thinking about, I hope the second battery doesn't die, and I just did 2 videos. And are people going to watch the second part because the first part I was in the flow? What am I going to do about that? And now the light goes off. So I'm broadcasting live. I'm going to take the battery, I'm going to switch this, and this is really, really awkward for me. This is the second time, and now I'm feeling like this is so unprofessional, but I'm broadcasting live, so I'm not going to even stop. I'm not going to stop talking. I'm just going to model this. I'm going to finally minimize my hypocrisy and practice what I'm preaching. And now this one doesn't work. Oh my God, now I'm getting really angry and upset. But I'm going to try one more time. And if not, I'm going to finish this without light. Oh my Lord, God. All right. So, as you can see, that was me broadcasting live. But I will finish this. So start with self-talk, like I just modeled. Then choose a relationship that you feel safe in. A relationship that you know they won't mock you, or at least not initially, or at least not in your face, about sharing your truth, about opening up, about being vulnerable. And then announce it like for the next 20 minutes, I will be sharing what's happening inside my mind. And you don't have to say anything, you don't have to applaud me or be shocked, just let me practice this new skill. Then buckle up and become the verbalizer and start verbalizing your feelings. And buckle up, because just expect a lot of now moments, a lot of these moments where something fresh is happening, a lot of little ruptures and repairs as you are organically talking about what's happening. And you will notice that's impossible for the other to stay constant, because you're always verbalizing what's happening now and what's happening now. You are actually practicing presence, or relational presence, right? Which means I'm connected to myself and connected to the other. We can also call this differentiation, right? So by naming it live, I am practicing my differentiation. I am sharing, I'm connecting to what I'm feeling right now, and at the same time I'm sharing it with you. So I'm not just going inside myself and blocking you out. I'm actually maintaining contact with you as I'm connecting to myself. So the verbalizer actually raises differentiation and enables a relational presence like never before. And as this is happening, just see what organically happens. See if the other partner, person on the other side is also feels more and more open and free to share what he or she is thinking. And just enjoy this stream of consciousness. I think a lot of times, about psychiatric hospitals where people are just talking to themselves and you think they're crazy, but actually you think sometimes, wow, they are so free just to feel that. So connect to the madness that's inside of you. Like open up the director's version, you know, and just give all the director's commentary live and inside your relationships, and see how that really changes. Adds spice and vitality and growth and adventure and curiosity. All those things that make this life so, so special. Because life is so short. So name it, not only to tame it, but to grow and to enrich your life. My name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and this was The Potential State. I'll see you next time.